Ever wondered why some people are buying bottles of wine worth a year's salary or sneakers that could pay off a small car loan? What if I told you that there's a hidden world where these items aren't just luxuries but alternative asset class investments? Fascinating, right? Dive in with me, and you might just find your next investment in the most unexpected alternative investment opportunities. No more stocks, crypto, or real estate. So, you're familiar with the stock market, bonds, maybe even cryptocurrencies, but have you ever heard of someone saying, "I just invested in this stunning piece of art," or "bought a vintage car and I'm expecting it to double in value in a few years"? Sounds a bit offbeat, doesn't it? But the reality is, these are tangible, unique assets that hold value, often increasing over time. Now, you might be wondering, why are these investments gaining so much traction? For starters, their uniqueness. There's something about owning a one-of-a-kind piece of art or a rare bottle of wine. It's not just about the money, it's the pride and joy of owning something that few others have. Plus, there's the lure of tangible assets. You can touch them, feel them, even flaunt them. It's a fascinating world, isn't it? So how about we pour ourselves into the world of wine investing? You might have raised a toast on special occasions, or just enjoyed a quiet evening with a glass of wine. But behind that delightful sip is an entire history of collectors and connoisseurs treating wine not just as a beverage, but as an asset. The story of wine portfolio collection goes back centuries. Kings, queens, and nobles, they all boasted of their exquisite collections. Today, it's not just the royalty, but financial education enthusiasts and investors worldwide. What's the fuss about? Well, several factors play into a wine's value. First, there's the vineyard's reputation. Ever heard of the big names like Bordeaux or Burgundy? Their wines are almost like the gold standard. Then comes the vintage. A good year can mean a wine that's sought after for decades. Of course, if you're storing it, it better be right. A bottle kept in poor conditions can go from a treasure to trash real quick. And lastly, global demand. As more and more people appreciate the finer things in life, the demand for elite wines shoots up. Speaking of elite, did you know a bottle of 1945 Romani Conti wine was sold for a whopping $558,000 at an auction? Crazy, isn't it? But like any investment, wines come with their fair share of risks. And echoing the words of Warren Buffett, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Tastes can change, markets can shift, and if you're not an expert or don't consult one, you might just end up with an expensive bottle of vinegar. And while wine has its charms, wait till you step into the world of kicks. Sneakers, once the staple of athletes, have evolved into the world of the reselling business. Each limited edition pair represents potential sneaker investments to make. What started off as essential sports gear is now a fashion powerhouse. Walking the streets, you won't just see these on the feet of runners or basketball players. Nope, you'll spot them at high-end parties, on fashion runways, and even in boardrooms. But here's the twist. The sneaker world isn't just about wearing them, it's about the thrill of the hunt. Those sneaker drops and brand collaborations, they're not just releases, they're events, each one an opportunity for fans to get their hands on a limited edition pair and potentially an investment goldmine. Now, where do you track or trade these prized possessions? Enter platforms like StockX and GOAT. They're like the stock market, but for cashing out sneakers. Prices rise and fall, bids are placed, and sneakerheads worldwide lock horns to get their desired pair. Yet, the sneaker game isn't all smooth sailing. The very hype that drives prices up brings with it a wave of counterfeits, making the guidance of a financial advisor paramount for success in this venture. Authenticity is everything, and just like fashion, what's hot today might not be tomorrow. Trends shift, and if you're not in the loop, you might just be holding onto a pair that's out of vogue. Feeling the urge to dive into these investments? Hold onto those wallets. Here's the playbook. It's one thing to be captivated by the glitz of the wine and sneaker world, and quite another to navigate it successfully. Think of it as a game. To win, you need a strategy. First on the list, research. The world of alternative investments is fascinating but tricky. It's essential to have your finger on the pulse, always staying ahead of the curve. You wouldn't buy a car without checking its features, would you? The same goes for that bottle of wine or those flashy sneakers. Know the trends, understand the market, and stay informed. Then comes diversification. We've all heard the saying, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." This rings especially true here. It's tempting to invest all in that one promising bottle or sneaker drop. But what if it doesn't pan out? Diversifying spreads out the risk and increases the chance of a win. Of course, once you've got your assets, taking care of them is crucial. A smart investor seeking financial freedom knows the importance of maintaining the pristine condition of these assets. Wines need the right temperature, humidity, and position. And those sneakers? Keep them pristine, away from damp and sunlight. It's their condition that often dictates their value. Lastly, never underestimate the power of expertise. Sommeliers for wine, sneakerheads for those kicks. They've been in the game, they know the ins and outs. A little advice from them could mean the difference between a successful investment and an expensive mistake. Now that you're armed with the tips, let's ask the golden question. Is this investment playground the right fit for you? Well, if you're genuinely fascinated by wines or have an undying love for sneakers, the journey becomes so much more enjoyable. You're not just in it for the potential profits, but for the love of the game. And trust me, that enthusiasm, it's contagious, and it makes the whole process a lot more rewarding. So now, which would you rather invest in, a vintage wine or a rare sneaker drop? Let us know in the comments. In the meantime, check out this amazing video on how Mr. Beast created a multi-billion-dollar empire, all online.